Okay, greetings, Earthlings. Welcome back to the Ethan Shapiro YouTube channel, where we are talking about how to win friends and influence people for episode number 5. We have been discussing how to win people to your way of thinking. And, of course, give it the caveat, assuming that your way of thinking is facilitating positivity and success for your life. Because you don't want to win people to your way of thinking to control them to get what you want. What you want to do is you want to get people to be better versions of themselves and help them create their own destiny and facilitate their own success. Or at least that's what I want to do. So we're at point number, I want to say 5. Get the other person saying yes immediately. Now, there is this idea of positive affirmations, and you can do this for yourself, or you can do this when you're trying to influence other people. But asking someone a question like, did you really, when you had that experience where you won the race, was that really great for you? And then, so first of all, you always want the person to be talking about themselves, and then obviously that's actually the next point that we're going to talk about. But you want to get the person in the affirmative, because we are always kind of, especially when it's a stranger, you're kind of hesitant of who they are. Do they have good intentions? Are they trying to get something from me? And if you can get the person agreeing with you right off the bat with simple things like, don't you just love living in Boulder? Isn't it great? Like, oh, isn't climate change such a big problem? Or those are two, very obviously very related to my life. But something as simple as like, isn't it a really nice day today? It's like, oh, don't you just love coming to events like this? Isn't it great? And it's like, yeah. It's like, man, So, do you think it's important that you're here? I don't know. I'm just giving you examples, but getting people into the affirmative is going to set the conversation off on a positive note. And again, this is the idea that you're taking these skills that you're developing from this course that Carnegie used to teach, and you're using them with everyone you talk to and every person you interact with, because you're always wanting them to be your friend and you're wanting to influence them in a positive way. It looks like we got like clouds and light changing, but whatever. So, number 6, I alluded to already, because again, everything's all connected. It's all about how to win friends and influence people in a positive way, doing these positive things like smiling and focusing on them and talking about what they're interested in. There goes the light again. Let the other person do a great deal of talking. And one of the weird things about these videos that I make, I'm starting to notice, is that I'm always talking and I'm big personality. I'm letting my ideas out. But when I'm interacting with people, and you can't see it through a YouTube video, you can't see it on my website, you can't see it in my film, but when I deal with people, only people who deal with me will know what I'm really like with them. And I'm always trying to get the other person talking. And this is a sales thing, is you always want the other person to be saying all of the words, or like 80% of the words, because actually, funnily enough, the way humans work is that they'll remember the conversation very fondly if they were doing most of the talking. And especially, again, positive affirmation. So not only are they talking, you're looking them in your eye and you're saying, yeah, I agree. And not only are you agreeing, you're thinking about, you're processing what they're saying and actually making a thoughtful response and making them, showing them that you're actually listening to what they're saying. So if you let someone do a great deal of talking, especially someone who often doesn't get a chance to talk a lot, or even someone who loves to hear the sound of their own voice. A lot of us are like that. If you're letting the person continue to talk, don't cut them off, especially if it's a new person that you just met. Like, just let them, they'll be like, I really like this guy. Like, they'll leave and be like, I really like that Ethan guy. But in reality, I said like 10 things, and I let them I just was like, oh really? And how did you come to that idea? It's like, what led you down that path? It's like, and then you always keep asking open-ended questions to try and understand. And not only are you asking the questions, again, you're actually listening to what they're saying. Damn, the lighting keeps changing. You're always listening to what they're saying and trying to understand who they are, so you can kind of win them to your way of thinking, if you think that's going to be positive. But the idea is to become friends with someone, is to listen to what they say. Cool. So that's 5, 6, 7. Let the other person feel that the idea is his or hers. Now, I've alluded, again, all connected. I've alluded to this many times. You don't influence people to your way of thinking by saying, the way you see the world is incorrect, and here are all the parts that you're missing. A, B, C, D, E. Here's everything that I know. Take this. Remember, I have logical arguments to explain to you, and in great detail, why why running is really bad for your health. It's bad for your joints. It changes your priorities. I'm just, I just make up funny examples in these videos, but you have to kind of do a little song and dance for people. You can drill your ideas into them, but it's not going to be as effective unless you find a way to creatively communicate in their language. So again, seeing things from their perspective. You want to facilitate this way of thinking through their words. So you want to like put little things in. It's like, oh, how did that make you feel? Did you think that if you had done this experience in a different way, it would have made you feel differently? And then they start thinking about what you're saying, and then they start taking what you're saying and the thoughts that you have given to them and mixing them with their own thoughts and then creating something new. And that's what we kind of do every single day. Actually, we're always synthesizing information that's coming into our mind and using our foundation to then create a version of our own. Everyone's seeing things in a different way. And if you let the other person, even if don't be the person, don't be bragging and say I was right, you were wrong. Just especially if it's in their best interest, just let them believe they came to the conclusion on their own and leave it at that, because that's gonna stick. If they think that they came up with it themselves, it's gonna stick. And this is just psych, guys. This is psychology. This is the way people work. Whether you want to believe it or not, if you think you came up with the idea yourself, you're much more likely to hold on to it, even if it's not the case. So that's a huge one. These are really good points. And then the final one is try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. And I talked about this a lot in this episode already. The idea of listening to them and understanding that they come from a different perspective than you do, and trying to really, really see things from other people's point of view. And I don't think there's really been anything more valuable in my entire life, and why I'm going to spend the rest of my life making YouTube videos, doing podcasts, talking to people at the door, talking to people at networking events, because I think the most fun way to live your life is to see things from other people's point of view and realize that you're just one blip in a sea, not even talking about the universe, in a sea of human beings where every single person has had a different experience than you. And if you can see things from their point of view, you can enhance your own. And talking about how to win people to your way of thinking, if you're able to see the world in the way that they do and then communicate in their language, they're going to be much more likely to consider the stuff that you're saying. Again, right, making them feel the ideas his or hers, speaking their language, getting them to understand that the way you think is actually not so different from the way they think. It's actually it's just another version of themselves. We're all one, we're all different, we're all the same person, but we all have different experiences. I don't know if that made much sense, but that was episode number 5. Seeing things from other people's point of view. There's so many different points of view out there, guys. If you think your point of view is the best, how could you even quantify something like that? There's 7 billion people, right? 7 billion people. If you can show someone that you respect their views, they're going to be much more likely to take advice from you. So it's as simple as that. We'll be back next week for another episode. Love you guys. Take it easy. Peace out.